And welcome to the show of shows, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy and flabbergasted today to be here because know what? First of all, I'm still alive. I'm not dead, and I'm happy to be alive. Know why? Because today is a good day. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. We have some special guests on our show today. These guests are so wonderful and dear to my heart that, you know, I've spent a little time with them during the week before the show to get to know them, and they are dear to my heart, and I just had to have them on the show because they have a very special message. A very special message that's good for every family, because there's a family member that's going through every situation that they've been through so far. I already know it. So with saying that, feel free to, you can comment at the bottom of this video right now. You can go to the bottom of the video, the WCOBM TV network, Las Vegas. Go to the bottom of the video. You can ask questions of these two guests that are about to talk about gun violence. Amen? Very serious issue that's going on in the United States. You know, we have to talk about it, and we have to spread the word. There are communities that are going through so many different things, but in Pittsburgh, they have something going on with these two young ladies here that I have right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two super fantastically talented and honest, good people right here with good hearts. Amen. They've been through so much, and it takes people that have been through something and actually tell it, that what people will receive it. So I got these guests on here along with my beautiful wife, Pastor Mary Anderson. This is my beautiful wife right here. She's beautiful. She's just beautiful. She's just like, man, she's my shining diamond. Look at her shine. Wow. A lot of guys see I don't got that much bling bling. That's my bling bling. Look at her shine. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you, without further ado, I got LuAnna Marie Coward and Valerie Sabrina Dixon. Come on, clap your hands, stomp your feet. We got them here. They're going to tell their stories today. Their story is unique. Their story is powerful. Their story is a story that that a lot of you guys should hear if you have a family member that went through gun violence. You know, and gun violence is statistically very large and loud, and it's showing its ugly face in America. You know, a lot of people talk about Chicago and what's going on there, but Chicago is another thing that's happened. The same thing that's happening in Chicago is now happening in other cities and other states, and this is like more like an epidemic as well. Amen. This is more like a epic. This is more like a pandemic. This is more like something that we need to talk about that's not being talked about. We want to put this issue to the forefront today on this show, my show, Zdwayne Anderson, the Man of Many Voices show. And we want to welcome you today. You all are welcome today. All 7 million of you, or whoever is on watching right now. It might be just 1 million, it might be 1,000. Whoever is watching, we're going to turn that 1,000 to that 7 million, and we're going to spread the word, because guess what? The devil don't want us to tell you this information that we're about to give right now. So I'm going to let them tell their story. You know, their story is so unique, and it blessed my heart, and it was more like a healing to me to know that these women are so strong, that they endured so much pain, but they're still standing. And I'm just happy to say it and everything. So LuAnna, I just want to start with you. You know, you are such a dear person to me and everything, and she's a very dear person to my family, very close to my children, very close to even to my church, both of these ladies. Amen. Yes, so I just want to I want you to tell your story from the beginning. What happened and what that has to do with gun violence in your life that turns you around and make you start this organization, this beautiful organization that's helping so many people in Pittsburgh and around the world with your TV station and your TV show.
Yes, well, it was a relief informal support group that I decided to begin in May of 2009. That was after the senseless murder of my second son. Actually, my first son was murdered Friday before Mother's Day, 2001, on May the 11th. Right. And really, Mr. Anderson, I started with the community, of reaching out to community at that time, right prior to that, having street events on my community street, and it was a day of unity And fellowship versus a day of just one day of grief.
Absolutely.
You know, when the people come out the woodwork that all get together on that one day. Well, for me, it started, like I said, with my passion. How can I say? Start relief. It's just so many. I'm gonna try to touch the one. I was actually driving home one day in the city of Oakland in Pittsburgh, and God spoke to my heart. It was after losing my second son and a nephew, and that was within 5 years' time. At that time, between 2001 and 2005, and God spoke to my heart, and He spoke to get with others that lost dear loved ones, like other mothers. Yes. And He spoke the word relief. Sitting there at the red light so quickly after the word was spoken into my heart, my mind, and my spirit, immediately told me what it meant. Recognizing every lingering inward emotional feeling. So at that point, the following month, I began to invite different people who I know had lost a loved one, especially zooming on the mothers. So that's what really started. That was the conception of the Relief Support Group. As time went on, that was in 2000 and that was actually in 2009 when I started the support group. Time went on, like God take us to other levels. I kind of ceased with the street organization thing, because God put something else in my heart to start a TV show. Excellent. Because after my third son on it was the 16th day of April 2012, my third son was murdered. All this happened within 11 years' time. Neither one of my sons reached to be 20 years old. Okay, I need to say that at that point, I started 2 weeks later after my third son, I reached out to the boys group homes in the Pittsburgh area, and I began to do presentations to try to reach another young person. Now, if I could just help give one a change of mind, that meant a lot to me, to live their life differently. So that was the talk show. Briefly, the talk show is because when a person loses a loved one, it takes a lot of energy just to get up in the morning. At sometimes it takes a lot of energy to do a lot of things. So the relief support group in a talk show is pretty much reaching out to those that haven't got the strength yet to take a stand what God can give us, because it's dear for us. And I was listening to the rehearsal the other day when Pastor Mary was doing her mom's group with the children. You have to reach up and grab it, because it's there for all of us.
That's right. For the taking, and you know, that's $1,025,000 worth of information you just gave. You know, but with your situation with your children, that is such a heartfelt thing. That's just something that soaks your soul. Amen. And indeed, you know, you went through that pain and that emotion of losing. I couldn't even imagine, because I never lost a child yet. And I don't plan to. But you know, to me, that would be something so unbearable, but you're still here and you're still standing. Can you tell us and reiterate about the pain that you went through and what it's like that you endured, just so that if somebody's watching that's going through the same situation as you can understand that, you know, you can survive through it?
Well, I call it the aftermath journey, Mr. Anderson, simply because on May 11th at 11:07 p.m. in our city hospital in Pennsylvania, I stepped into the trauma room. My first son, Harry, he was an inspiring rap artist. He actually opened the shows for Ja Rule, and I think it was Juvenile back in the day in the early 2000s, and I mean in the late 1990s, and when they came to Pittsburgh. But the thing about it, when I stepped in that room, and my first son had just left home only 20 minutes ago. And when I stepped in that trauma room and seen his lifeless body, I call it, God gave me a word, I call it the twilight zone, and I can break that twilight zone down real briefly. It was, your son just left home, and now you're standing there, and he's lifeless. The twilight zone is the disbelief in a reality hitting you at the same time, which set me in the twilight zone. My son, last words a young lady told me was, tell my mom I love her. Actually, he went to a memorial party for one of our first youngsters that was killed in our community on a drive-by, mistaken drive-by shooting, 14 years old. And they kept on giving these annual events. And that's where he was murdered at a memorial party. And it was sad because he was on his way out of Pittsburgh because different groups wanted him. Gyro, them knew about him. DMX.
He was on his way,
he was an inspiring rap artist. Everybody knew him. He won many a contest. He had a sense of humor that he always tried to uplift people. And one thing about it with the streets, a lot of our children today, they get out in the streets and their peers press them and they become that person. But one thing about that son, my first son, when he came home, he was his grandma's grandson. He was his mother's son. I mean, you know, he knew how to divide the two. And I just feel, I just want to say his last words was, tell my mom I love her. Those words carry me through my sad times, my happy times, and it is big part of my motivator today.
Well, so that's a very intricate story about that, because, you know, just like I'm saying to all Las Vegas right now, and to Hollywood, and to all my friends and fans out there right now, that this is a serious conversation that we're having, because I mean, I know a lot of you out there, and I know I have a lot of people that I talk to, but a lot of you never dealt with, and I know some of you have dealt with people who lost their life and lost life in their family from gun violence and everything. And these two ladies are going to explain to us, you know, the power of God and what God can do for you if you just hold on. Because you know, she didn't tell the part about her praying through the situation, but we're going to get to that. You know, she didn't tell the part. We're going to get to the parts that, you know, I know that you have questions about and everything. But I implore you that you stay and you listen and you watch this show as I introduce my next guest, and they're going to both tell the story. But as that you stay and listen so that you can give this information to somebody else in your family, because it's very valuable information. And if you see the phone numbers or any emails on the screen, at the bottom of the screen, you should see at the bottom of the screen, please don't hesitate to call, because not only you know, are we doing this for the situations of helping others, but we're doing this for the situation that because God ordained these two women to go out and help somebody else. So with saying that, I'd like to bring you into the conversation. Valerie Dixon, how are you?
Hi. I'm doing wonderful. I'm blessed. Thank you guys.
That's great. That's great. And can you tell us and iterate your story and how you got into this and what how you lost your son?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, our journey's even similar, and one of the things me and Lou always share, she lost all 3 of her sons, and she always come back with, but you lost your only one. And our bond was so connected from, you know, that moment. But in 2001,
that's how you guys met.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2001, she lost her son Harry Cower, and she was having an event in Duquesne.
Amen.
And you know, I heard about her journey, and you know, I went out there to meet her, and it was amazing because I'd never seen her in my life. I just knew about this event in Duquesne, but when I got to the blocked off street and all these community people out there, as soon as I seen her, I knew she was the woman.
Yes.
I knew that was my sister
in
this journey. From that point on, we've been together. And you know, in 2001, June 25th, you know, one of my dear friends, Tim Stevens, out in Pittsburgh, is doing a lot of anti-violence work and civil rights movement work. He always identifies my son's birthday and his death day when he speaks, and he doesn't write it down. It's just something that's etched in his head, and it means so much to me that this man that didn't even know my child always can just flow that date out of his mouth whenever we're in an event trying to reach young people. But it was a young gentleman in the community, had just moved in our area, wasn't even there 11 months, and he was hating on my son. You know, like LuAnna's son, my son was popular. He was a football player in the city of Pittsburgh. He was considered one of the best City of Pittsburgh City League football players in the area.
Well, you know what? Hold that thought for a minute, because we're going to pay tribute to our sponsors, because we got to pay the bills, keep these lights on and all this stuff. But hold that thought, because we need to tell this story. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Dwayne Anderson Man of Many Voices show in Las Vegas. We just want you to stay tuned, stay here, don't go nowhere, because we're getting ready to get into the nitty-gritty of the story. And these two fabulous women of God, fabulous women here right now, are going to tell nationwide to all 7 million of you that it is a better life. It is. You don't have to give up with a situation when you lose a loved one in your family to gun violence.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a we're gonna slight pause and call. I'll see you in a few. Peace.
All right.
In loving memory of Anita Mayo and her 5 children, Constance Anderson Collier, Anita's mother, established the Anita Mayo and Kids Scholarship Fund. The funds donated to the Anita Mayo and Kids Scholarship is given away each year to assist with college tuition and/or books and supplies. To be eligible for this scholarship, you must be a senior in high school planning to attend college and/or a student who is currently a college undergrad with a 2.8 GPA. If you are interested in donating or applying for this scholarship, send your inquiries to amkscholarship@gmail.com. You can also send your donation to amkscholarship@gmail.com through PayPal. You have a blessed day. And remember, education is the key to our future. So please donate to this blessed cause, the Anita Mayo and Kids Scholarship Fund. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are here on the Dwayne Anderson Man in Many Voices show here in Las Vegas, all around the world, worldwide. We are telling the story of gun violence and all the horrors of it, and how you can break through it and be an overcomer, an achiever, and be a better person because of it to help other people. And we have Valerie Dixon right here. She was just telling her story. You know, start from where you left off, and tell us, you know, let us know what's going on here.
Yeah, like I had mentioned, my son Robert James Dixon was his admit football player in the city of Pittsburgh. Well loved, well liked, and you know he kind of struggled a bit once he got out of high school, because it was so many promises that we're not going to let this one slip out of our hands. You know, we're going to support him all the way. But what it was our family he would have been our first college, you know, kid to go to college out of our family, and we sent him to college. You know, we struggled that year. He graduated, got him to college in California. We sent him down to Merced College, California, and he was down there for a year. And he called me every day wanting to come back to Pittsburgh, you know, and play. And you know, he called me so much I had to get a 1-800 number for him because my phone bill was too high. But we brought him back, you know, and he had interviews with Walt Harris and Joe Walt of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, and Robert Morris College, you know, and they wanted to bring him in, but they wanted to actually, you know, say, you know, if you come for 2 years and we can get you on the team. But he knew he was a little better than that. And like LuAnna said, you know, we lived in a community that was kind of a destitute community in our area, impoverished, you know, different things going on. And my son knew everybody in the community, the good and the bad, those that made the good choices and the bad choices. And he was straddling the fence on struggling with, you know, nothing's coming through, you know, I might as well do this or this, that, and the other. So he had friends out there that was trying to lead him the wrong way, but he had friends that trying to lead him the right way. So he had a friend that got an opportunity for him to go down and practice with the Atlanta Falcons that year. And so he was 2 weeks away. We had to play his plane ticket and everything. He was going to practice on you know, their summer camp. They had a buddy program. He was going to go down, and 2 weeks prior to that, this young kid that was just jealous of my son in the neighborhood, this day he decided to kill my son. And he actually asked a guy in the neighborhood, man, you know, I need a gun. And the guy asked him, what's it to him? And you know, the guy showed him 2 little vials of crack, you know, and he said, I'll be right back. And this kid came back in 2 hours with a mint condition .357 Magnum. And 10 o'clock that evening, my son had 4 bullets in him, and he laid on the street dead. This kid actually ran around the street, threw the gun in the sewer, and came back to the scene. Nobody knew he was the one that did the shooting at the time, but he stood there the whole time until they actually took my son's body away. You know, and you know, in that aftermath, as LuAnna always mentions, which is such a powerful word, it's a true aftermath, because you know, once I got the word and ran to the scene, you know, I got there and I always dreaded that white sheet. Because gun violence was going on so much in our community, I always would see that white sheet. It was about 2 years before that white sheet was on my street, and I remember hook slide my car up, and I ran up, and I remember seeing these tennis shoes, and my community members were like, Miss Val, that's not Rob. because I thought it was Robbie because I seen those tennis shoes under the sheet. But this night, it was my son under the sheet. And, you know, I recall seeing where the blood was running down from, you know, and I knew that was his head. And I just, you know, was trying to run to him. And I was a big girl, you know, I've lost 120 pounds since then, but I remember running, but I wasn't going anywhere. My whole community was holding me in the air. And they said, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. They would not let me get near him. And I just recall saying, I just want to pray over his body. I could see his soul. It's just, it's here, it's still here. I just want to say a few words, you know, and I didn't have that opportunity, but I did eventually. But in that aftermath, the power, the struggle of that, when you have your child first of all is murdered, taken away from you instantaneously by the hands of another person, and then you have that short moment to bury your child. It's such a short moment that people are so traumatized. I don't even really realize what's going on in those 10 days. Like you have to put away your child in the ground, you know, and so in those 10 days, and then you got a couple of days of work give you, and then eventually you got to get back to work. So you get back to work and people are, how you doing? And you're saying, I'm okay, I'm fine. You're not. But those are just the automatic words that come out your mouth.
That's the facade that you're putting, a smile on your face.
That's that face, that mask you put on.
And part of your grace that you have, you know, because you want to, even though you're going through that, you still want to keep people happy.
Yes, you don't want to bring that pain onto them because it's enormous. It's enormous. But there was a voice, and I know what that voice was in my living room one day, and I come home because I put my face on, and I go to work, and I do what I do at work, and I come back home, and I take my mask back off, and I'm in tears the rest of the day. But it was something. I was watching TV, and this lady lost her son on TV. It was a TV show, and I was sitting there crying with her, but I heard a voice just like you and I are talking, and it's like a person was sitting right next to me, and they said, don't let those 4 bullets kill you too. And I had to look around, but I knew it was God. I knew it was God. And when I got up, and I said, we have to do something. We have to do something. First of all, yes, find out who killed my son. So, you know, I was going out in the community trying to figure out, asking questions, who knows this, who knows that? And I said, it's not loud enough for me. I need something louder. So I went to work, and 4 other people, what happened in that journey, my son got murdered, and just before we was getting ready to bury him, his friend called and said, Miss Val, I need to talk to you, but I can't let nobody in the neighborhood see me talking to you. So I said, meet us at the funeral home. He never showed up, and 3 days later he was murdered. And while he was dying, he said who murdered him, who shot him, and 4 hours later he was murdered. And 5 weeks later, the first voice that I got that said, Miss Val, they killed Rob. That young man and his sister were murdered. So I knew it was bigger than my son. What was going on. This was a larger situation that needed to be addressed. And so those families that had lost and no idea or concept who killed their loved one, I put together a photo of these faces of individuals that were murdered, and I called different organizations, the Witness Protection Program, the Gun Violence Confiscation Program, things like that, put money together to go to the billboard campaign and say, I need to put a billboard up. This needs to be loud for people to be involved in the community to say, I know who did that. I remember that night.
Come on.
You know, and so I got a 1-800 number, and I went to the billboard company and I said, look, I really don't have a dime, but this is what I want to do. They said, we'll put it up for free.
Because, you know, that was God's grace over you, you know, and the situation, sometimes God puts situations in your life to be a blessing to other people, and you handled it with integrity, and people, and because of that, you get favor. You know, so both of you ladies, you endured that with, talking with the police and finding out, getting answers from people, and you know, that's such a big, that's dear to my heart. Can you expand on that? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I did have a question, because I know in the past we hear, because we're on the West Coast, we hear a lot about the killings in Chicago, but I know for a fact in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because that's my hometown, the killings are it's so high there, and I know both you ladies have put together programs to help the families of these victims, but you're also working on, you know, stopping the gun violence as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, and can you reiterate on that before I ask my next question? Can you reiterate on your organization and what you guys put together? You know, and that, by the way, I commend you for the billboards. That's a excellent step. You know, but can you both reiterate, starting with you, about your organization and what it entails, and what's the the positive things that are coming out of it.
Well, with the Relief Informal Support Group, first I need to
what's
say...
the name of it again?
Relief Informal Support Group.
Oh, okay, excellent.
All right. Actually, the Relief Informal Support Group is because one of our purpose of the support group is that it's no need for no one to struggle with the grief process alone. Because the grief can lock you down. It can isolate you. It can take you to so many downhill levels. And we heal together there. And God had put that in my heart to come together, because it's such a virtue that go out when you're talking to somebody and they know that they know how you feel. Sometimes a person, I just want to say, with the Relief Informal Support Group, we would go out, several ladies and things would go out to different wakes. We visit different wakes and stuff. And I need to say, it ain't always about saying something. When your story speaks for itself. Right. So when it's hard for any mother or loved one have to sit on that, especially a mother, because we as parents, we always think that our children are going to bury us, but with our life, it flipped the script, and so many others. So it's hard sitting on that front row. And when you sit on that front row, and I just ask God to show me what to do, because it ain't always about talking. It's about just popping up, being present in the midst of the first impact of when a person loses their loved one. And so as we go to the wakes, it's only a simple hug sometimes. We might go there just to give hugs, because as I stand over a mother that's so broken down, or a father that done lost their child to violence, I can give them the hug and God do the rest, because all they have to do is look up and see that I'm still standing. If I can, if they say, well, if she's standing, I can stand. So God can do the rest. I just got to make myself available. And then another thing, see, with different organizations throughout the Pittsburgh area and different places, they'll help a person when you lose a loved one to violence. It's just spreading like a deadly disease, especially with our young people. And a lot of people don't even have insurance, sad to say. A lot of them don't think they need insurance, you know. I heard a message the other day. They said death is just a blink of an eye. It ain't like something it's coming somewhere. But when it comes so unexpectedly, a family needs instant help, sudden help. And so with the Relief Informal Support Group, it's a first impact. And that's what we go out. We want to go out when that first impact, because a lot of agencies will help you, but we was filling in the gap. God gave me to fill in the gap. I want to give back what was so freely given to me, where I wasn't able to buy all the clothing for my son, two of their funerals, the dress. You know, I want to just give back what's freely. The deceased might need clothing. That mother might need a dress, or that we want to give back. That's what we try to give back. Now we might not get help with the whole funeral, but I ain't gonna put God in the box at this time. But I want to say, far as putting the clothes on the back for every member to go there presentable. Maybe a mother need her hair done and get and then afterwards, see, after the funeral, when the piano stop playing and everybody go back to their home, they light their own lights, they go back. But I'm here today to tell you that you're in the fog zone then, because you can't believe that you just buried your child. But when that knock come on the door 2 or 3 weeks later and saying, I was thinking of you, and then they want to give you that there card, say I was thinking of you, but when they open that card though, also you got a food voucher card, because you're so broken inside. And my vision is what I went through. You're so broken inside, you don't even want to get up to go to the refrigerator, or to go to the refrigerator and it's all empty. You're going to be spiritually broken, you're going to be physically broken, you'll be all of those different broken. And see, and I just want you to say, and go ahead to Valerie thing, for what they, you know, because we're in collaboration or whatever we do, friendship, missionship, all that. But I'm just saying, before a person at these wakes, everybody been to a wake, right? So people just being people, it's so much food in the kitchen of that family during that time. Today, but during that time, but people being people, and nothing to give to people, not to offend nobody, but people being people come and take more than what they need just because it's there. But that's the only thing I speak of for the families that have to live on. When they wake up in their brokenness a couple of days later, and all the food that they did glance about because they don't feel like eating, but it's no longer there. We want to be the ones to knock on that door and here to give them their food card. And let me tell you, and just like a baby, I guess like God did all of our lives, but I'm gonna think of an infant that began to walk. They're so broken down, but just with that idea of having to write a letter and send somebody to the store, get up and try to get back in the norm of going out back into the world, or try to go back, just for that moment, because any moment is a relief if you can get back into the normal. You might go back. You might come. It's like a roller coaster ride. Valerie, you agree to that?
It never leaves you.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
It's a life sentence.
That's what I like.
Your loved one is murdered. It's a life sentence. So you're never.
I got a 3 life sentence.
So hold that thought right there, because I got so much to get in and everything, and it's our time, and we want to iterate. We know that you wrote a book as well, and I want to get that in. Also, I want to get your part, and we need to plug, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to turn this. We're trying to get fundraising to turn their stories into a movie. This woman right here, her whole story, she lost 3 children to gun violence. This story is in the form of a book. The book is already out. The book is being turned into a movie, but we're looking for funding, we're looking for sponsorship, we're looking for investors, we're looking for all kinds of people to come in that can help us to tell this story, because statistically, gun violence went from 40% to 50%, now it's up to 95% in Chicago, in Pittsburgh, and it's traveling every city. Not just blacks, not just whites, but every ethnic people are just shooting and killing. Senseless violence is happening all over the United States. So we want to put an end to it. So we're going to go take a break right now. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere, because we got some powerful information coming to you.
All right. 2 for 2 Boobs, an organization created by Tallulah Anderson, a 2-time breast cancer survivor. 2 for 2 Boobs is dedicated towards providing education, information, resources, and advocacy for breast health and breast cancer prevention, while advocating for survivors and those who have been touched in some way by breast cancer. Your support for 2 for 2 Boobs will allow us to help others take charge of their breast health and provide information and resources to assist those who fought the fight and are survivors like Tallulah Anderson. If you would like to donate to 2 for 2 Boobs, you can do so by going to 2for2boobs.org. That is 2for2boobs.org, just like Tallulah Anderson.
Hello, everyone. I want to take you on a little journey today. I'm at the cemetery of where I had to bury my sons, all 3 of them, which we as parents always think that our children will bury us. But with me, it was a whole different story. Come with me. My son's last words was, "Tell my mom I love her," and that take me through my sad times, my happy times, and definitely it is one of my motivators of going on. As we travel this cemetery, many people here, children, grew up and now lay to rest here. All gun violence.
The destruction of my life and my family is not the same since that night. I don't go up to the cemetery much. It's just, there's really no spiritual life there to me. That's the place where my son is laid his shell, but his spirit is over there on Lincoln Avenue. But you have to come up here every now and then to really realize the depth of what's going on. And when I seen his grave, can't even explain it.
Happy once again. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, today's a good day because we have some valuable information. There might be somebody right now sitting in their kitchen or in their house right now that went through losing their son or daughter to gun violence. We are talking about it. We were spreading the word. We are giving awareness to it and everything. And there's a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to sit around and be in no pity party. You can get up and do something about it. We, as a society in the United States, need to help out because this is an epidemic as itself. Not just opioids, not just all these other things, but we also have an epidemic of gun violence going on, and people aren't talking about it. The news is not talking about it the way they need to talk about it. The media is not talking about it the way they needed to talk about it. So we're telling the story right now. So I'm going to start with Valerie Dixon right now. She's going to finish, and she's going to reiterate how you can get in touch with us. We're trying to do a fundraiser. We're trying to collect money. We're taking it in the form of investment, sponsorship, whatever you got to do to get some money for this movie that's going to be produced with this through this book that this lady, LuAnna Coward, wrote. In a 10-year process, she wrote this book about her life and losing her 3 children. But Valerie, I just want you to finish up and reiterate about the organization and everything about it.
Yeah, you were talking about services that we provide. And one of the things when I started the Billboard campaign, and to date, the Billboard campaign has brought in 39 trials have come from the Billboard campaign, and we've had over 34 convictions with it. And so we've got, statistically, it works. And people do speak up. People speak up. And one of the things that had happened after I lost my son, the trauma of it was so much. You know, we don't identify with trauma in our community. And you got to look at trauma as an injury to the brain. When trauma impacts your family, it's the same as if one of your family members was riding a bike and they fell and broke their leg. You know, you're not going to say, oh, we're not going to address that right now. We'll wait, you know, down the line, see what happens. That's what trauma is. When somebody does not address trauma, because you can't physically see it. It's up here. It's mental. It's psychological, and you let that build without addressing it. Unaddressed trauma is some of the tragedies that you see occurring today because it builds and builds and builds. It's like a volcano and a time bomb, and people explode because they never address the trauma that happened to them years ago. And it's not just homicidal trauma that people are dealing with. They're dealing with trauma from sexual assault, from domestic violence, different things like that. Those are things that you have to identify that are happening and get yourself some help for it. So some of the services are for referrals that the PACT Initiative and a relief group offer to our clients and our families, because we identify with the trauma first. When they see us coming, they think, oh, I can do what they're doing. I want to do exactly what they're doing, but they haven't addressed that trauma yet. And we want to make sure we pave the way that they're working on the emotion of the trauma and the loss, so that when they do go out there and speak, that they don't end up harming someone else with the verbiage and the words that they share because they haven't identified their own trauma yet. So we make sure that they're prepared before they go out, and we get them in training so they understand what the impact of trauma is, trauma-related issues. And so we make sure they're ready and prepared when they go out to the detention centers and the prisons and the community centers and the churches and talk to people and let them know what they're talking about, so that they can say, okay, I'm ready to do this thing. And then another thing that the PACT Initiative decided to do was become a 501c3 tax-deductible organization, so that those families that have not achieved that level can still achieve the dream that they want to do by helping others, you know. And so when they come to you and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and when we say, well, we want to support you on your dream, what can we do to help you? And a lot of people say, are you 501c3? And a lot of them, they don't even know what that is, let alone, you know, do they have one? And they'll say, okay, let's put a package together of what you want to do, identify what your objectives is, and let's get out there and let's sell this thing and get you some support so you can help others and doing what you want to do and achieve your dreams and goals. And these are healing processes for us. So, you know, we'll be healing fulfilling the rest of our lives. But you know, I always said, you know, I went to therapy right after my son got killed. In my 3rd session, I told my therapist, I said, you know what, I won't be coming anymore because all I do is cry my whole hour. So I need to be out there in the street just calling me. I felt the street calling me, and something I always wanted to do when I was 15. I wanted to work in a community. It was an old warehouse at the end of my street, and I had wrote, at the time it was Geraldo and Phil Donahue, of those that are over 50 might remember. I wrote them, and Oprah was just getting started. I never heard back from him, and I was Montel, and I was mad, you know, and I said I wanted to do something for the community. I was 15, but life turned around and went another direction. But here I end up doing what God always had a mission for me to do, is work in the community, ordained, and you know, working in partnership with this lady here. We're reaching all avenues of the county and the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County.
Hold up, now tell us some numbers and websites that people can go to, just in case there's somebody walking in their house right now and they say, wow, I really want to donate to this cause. I've always wanted to donate to this cause. What is the numbers and the websites that they can go to?
Well, I want them to start with the YouTube Relief TV Talk Show website, because you can actually get some therapy if you like, or become involved. And it is Relief 412. If you go on YouTube, you can find all our shows that we've done so far and get you some support on that. And you can also contact the show by contacting us, relieftvtalkshow@gmail.com. That's another way that you can actually reach us, reach the show, reach us for some support. Also, I don't know if you want to give nationally your phone number, but
well, I want to say we're doing a lot, and it's only by the grace of God strengthening us. I know a lot of times people say, how you do it? I can't take no credit. It's all about God. But I do want to know. I don't mind giving out, you know, my information, because I know it's that special person out there, a few special people out there watching us right now.
You know
God
who you
is up
are.
on your heart
You know
to
who
reach
you
out.
are.
Excellent.
Because I'm almost positive, I could sit here and bet very, very 100% that if you didn't lose no one to violence, you either know somebody that lost somebody to violence, or you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that lost some violence.
Correctly so.
Lost a loved one to violence. So yes, my phone number is,
this is your office number. Go ahead, tell them about it.
Well, actually, you can reach me at area code 412-583-5829, or LuAnna Coward, LuAnna @gmail.com.
And we implore you, we implore you, my brethren, my people, anybody out there that has a kind heart, that you know, people. It's so sad when you see family members out in gas stations and holding up signs, trying to pay for the funeral for their loved one that got shot and all this stuff, and they don't even have enough money to begin to pay for the funeral. We can give you information. We can give you a support that you need. We can give. You don't have to grieve by yourself. This has been going on for years. People just been grieving by themselves, never healing, and blaming everybody and God, you know. But there is a better way to do this, and you can be a healing to yourself, so that way you can be a beneficial part of somebody else's life. You know, things happen in this lifetime because of God's divine grace, but He uses those situations to bless other people. He'll take care of you when you get to heaven, but you need to bless. The day's a good day to bless somebody else. So with these organizations, we're asking for help. So that's why I want to talk about this book, Unexpected Events, that you wrote. And how long did it take you to write this book?
Actually, it wrote me. It was a 10-year process. I had, like I said, I lost my first son Friday before Mother's Day, 2001 on May the 11th, and 5 months and 17 days later I lost a nephew, and then 4 years later I lost my first son. Was 18 years old, and it was a Friday before Mother's Day. That was a call to receive right before Friday for Mother's Day, I must say. But nevertheless, after my nephew and my son, I had so many emotions, because when you lose a loved one, it's like a roller coaster ride. You have so many emotions, but I'm glad that God helped me channel my grief and to move positive with those emotions. You know what I mean? He just put some kind of stillness in my heart where I was learning to accept it every day. in some sort of way. Not like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay when you lose a loved one. It's a terrible thing to lose a loved one. But in the same aspect, it took me 10 years because it was the end of 2001. The beginning of 2002, I started writing down those emotions and stuff, you know, how I was feeling and all that. And I said, oh, and God just placed on my heart, write a book.
Oh, and now you want to turn it into a movie.
Yeah, and now I want to
And
turn it
actually,
into a movie.
we have part of the screenplay already written.
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
You just need the funding. Just need the funding to
Desperately
get
need
it
the funding.
to get it on wax, get it in the film, get it in the movies, get it on TV, whatever you can do. You already the donation. Valerie already gave you the place where you could call and give your donations. It should be on the bottom of the screen. We get ready to run down on time, but you have some sponsors. Do you want to give a shout out to some of your sponsors?
Well, I have sponsors that already have blessed me to get in Las Vegas, Nevada. Like, I never thought I'd be here, but here I am. But I just want to say too, I want to send this book out to Steve Harvey if he watches, because God put on my heart to put his name first when I first got my first book.
All right, Steve Harvey.
I got it.
You
I'm
got a
saving
book.
it. I'm saving it. I don't know when that day
Wait a
comes.
minute. Steve Harvey.
Come claim your book.
Steve Harvey. You know what? Steve, since your friend is Oprah, can you tell her about it too?
Yes.
And you have another friend, Tyler Perry. I know he needs to know
I actually
about this
sent
book.
a book to Tyler
Perry?
from I sent it to Pastor Corey Brooks years ago to give, because he actually helped Pastor Corey Brooks.
So Tyler Perry already have this book.
Well, he don't have it, but I have one already setting aside because God just said one day I'll be able to hand it to him.
Oh, you want to hand it to him?
Oh, that's
because
excellent.
I did
Absolutely.
a second one since I didn't hear from the
Yes,
first one. But I
yes.
do want to say the 10 years, I just know after a couple of years that my spirit of completion wasn't there. And I couldn't figure out why I could not write this book after my second son. But I need to say, and that was on December 11, 2005. But then the third son on the 16th of April. 2 weeks later, I just start writing. It was time. I couldn't feel a spirit of completion until then, but I need to say it was a hurting thing because my first son was murdered. My third son, which was Dawn Aaron Jones, was murdered on the same street as my first son 11 years prior to that. And it was 18, 17, and 19.
And I heard you have a very wonderful, beautiful, very talented, inspiring movie producer and playwright that's helping you with the movie.
Oh, yes, I do. The movie is on its way. I have talked to several people. This is like my second time out in Las Vegas and different places. But God put on my heart for one of the best producers that I know, that I have met on my life journey, and for Miss Mary Anderson, simply because she know what I'm talking about. You know, it's like I said, the virtue goes out between us because she know my story before I even got to be blessed in this seat. So if you can support this organization, which is in collaboration with Relief, where we branch out. She have places that can help you learn about this grief, and also this book is going to help so many millions of people, mothers to know they can make it, and also youngsters to know that that's what the streets have to offer you. It's a crossroad. It's time to switch. And if you can, while you still have breath in your body.
Right. Valerie, can you reiterate on that?
Well, definitely. I definitely want to, thank our sponsors that got us out here. BPEP,
yes.
Black Political Empowerment
Keith
Project
Giles.
in Pittsburgh.
Say that
ran
again,
by
Keith who?
Mr. Keith
Keith
Giles.
Giles.
Mr.
What's up,
Robert
Black
Waters.
Yes.
Political Empowerment Project.
Mr.
Tim
Nika
Stevens.
Tim Stevens.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
the
yes.
Center for Victims, the Coalition Against Violence. We want to thank
Yes, thank
Marlene
you
Ramsour, all you guys that have supported us on our journey. But please donate, and it's a tax deductible donation. If you can forward your donation to the PACT Initiative, Post Office Box 90131, Pittsburgh, PA 15224. This money will do such a wonderful job to help so many millions of people out here. Our story is no different than others, but we want people to know that they're not alone, and that this support in itself can bring them out of their darkness, and then they can start their own cause. And we also came here to give homage to those that lost their lives at the Mandalay Bay shooting.
Yes,
we went to the memorial, and it was just awesomely powerful. And we had prayers from Pittsburgh sending out to all of you that are Las Vegas and those who visited here that evening, the lost family members.
So we implore you to support this cause. You know, I'm gonna go to another break, but we want you to support this cause. And
no, that's it.
That's it. Well, guess what? Guess what? We ran out of time. You are on the Dwayne Anderson Man of Many Voices show here in Las Vegas, worldwide, in front of 7 million people. We had a wonderful show today, full of information that's good and that it is against gun violence. Please support these two ladies. Real quick, say that number one more time.
Post Office Box 90131, Pittsburgh, PA 15224. The PACT Initiative in honor and homage of the Relief TV talk show, LuAnna Cower, and her book, Unexpected Events.
And peace out. And remember, love somebody, tell them that you love them, and Jesus loves them too. Bye-bye.
And we love you.